All right, it's Memorial Day weekend here in the U.S., and it's a great time to party, so we're going to talk about how to be the king of the party. It's also a very unique opportunity today to remind yourself that you do not need or depend on feeling anything in particular to still be able to do very well with women. You know, for the longest time, I was very dependent myself in my pickup, in my seduction. If I didn't know the environment, the people, if I didn't feel it that day, the one that would freak me out the most, and I don't know if you guys have the same thing, is if for whatever reason I was a little more tired than normally. Oh, that one would just make me be under the impression that I was stuck, that I was freezing, that I was paralyzed. And the reason I bring that up today is that I've had a very extensive weekend, including one-on-one boot camps, and today I was on a movie set, brand new movie this morning, very interesting location, beautiful location, and also the cast is incredible. So by the time comes the time of the call, if I didn't know better, part of me could feel like I'm not feeling it initially. But I have learned the gift of dropping that and opening and staying open. We're here to open women. You cannot open someone if you closed on your side. What causes us to close is when we buy into little illusions that we don't know what to say, we don't know the person, we're not feeling it, and all of that, all those little obstructions, they're all a product of the imagination. So the ability to remember that and to just drop it and trust, and remember also, we're humans dealing with humans. So we shouldn't fantasize that on their side, they feel at their best, they know exactly what to do, they know what to say. On the contrary, they're probably encountering more internal fluctuations, and they don't have the edge that you have the moment you really commit to study this thing, to know that they're not bound by that. The moment you become aware of something, you're ahead of everybody else that just goes through it without being aware of it. So through time, I have learned to not use anything as an excuse, open no matter what. Even if for whatever reason my train of thought is not as appearing as sharp as I know it to be at times. Even if my biochemistry is not as optimal as I like for it to be. It's in a moment of surrendering to know I don't depend on any of those things. Here's an amazing affirmation for you guys. I do not depend on any of those things. And then ease, breath, even if you stutter a little bit. I've had many success stories. And I've witnessed so many have success stories when in fact it wasn't their greatest pickup of all times. But it still happens. So I also want to address being the king of the party, but here's another realization before we take questions. The idea of self-consciousness and the misconceptions around it. So today, the production level was more significant than the prior movies I had been in. And it made me become aware that both literally and as a figure of speech, the lights were very intense, the set, bright lights, under a brighter light. And when the opportunity is bigger, automatically, the same way if you flash a bright light on your carpet, you're going to notice little stains that you didn't notice before, but they were there. So very often, when you notice, for example, a girl that's more appealing to you, or you undertake something bigger, or an opportunity comes around, it would be so easy to be fooled. By a natural process, you are going to also, in the presence of a greater opportunity, the bar being set a little bit higher, automatically, just like a brighter light will reveal more stains and so on, you're also going to become a little bit more aware of things you can let go of. That is something, even though my explanation may for now elude you, that you experience, and people have taught us to recognize that as self-consciousness. For example, you're going to hang out with a girl that's a little bit more beautiful than normally. Automatically, you are going to check in with yourself a little bit more. You are going to hear the sound of your voice just a touch more. Things that normally would not even be in your realm of awareness are going to come to mind. But here is where it gets tricky, nasty, and deadly, is that most, when that happens, they think that it's there to hold them back, when in fact, it's there to be released. And oftentimes, that's why people go right back. That's why a lot of guys that are okay with a 6 or a 7 or an 8, suddenly they want to aim outside of that and they go right back, because automatically you're going to become a little bit more self-conscious. I witnessed it today amongst all the actors, because the opportunity appears to be a little greater and bigger automatically, like the example, simple example of a light, brighter light shining on the carpet will reveal more stains. You are going to something that's a little more significant than normally. You may notice, like, do I smell, or am I okay? You may check yourself a little bit. So those natural abilities are going to kick in gear. Don't call it self-consciousness, and know that they are not, the mistake is at the level of the direction. They are not coming to block you, to hold you back. They are being revealed so you can propel yourself even beyond, even forward, even more, even greater than what you normally know yourself capable of doing. We're here to be social. So seize every opportunity to be social. If you're a first-time listener, or if it still appears to not be easy for you to talk to women freely, how did I personally, many years ago, started to resolve that? A little bit outside of context, as well as in context. Every little opportunity to rapidly voice something and to be willing to deal with maybe a realization that, oh, I don't know if I said it the right way, or whatever would come afterwards, I would seize it. And that's your primary, initial, most essential exercise. If every day, within reason, you apply yourself, that when it would be easy to just not say something outside of context, you're in an elevator, there's a group of people, there's no hottie right there, nobody's talking, you could say something. It could be very simple. We're not even talking pickup, but you pass on it, so you once again recondition not voicing, holding back, kind of staying to the side, staying behind. You want to train yourself to do the opposite. Whether other people do it or not, it's none of your business, and it's their business. Because without that, it's not easy to truly, without a solid social platform, it's not easy to take the steps. So, knowing that now, this is a true test of dedication and comprehension. It will really make sense that when I say any questions, and there's zero obligation, but if you participate, you tell me where you're at, it will automatically elevate the call, and it will open many doors that otherwise may not have been opened. So don't cancel yourself. Voice yourself. Gentlemen, ladies, if there are any ladies listening, how can I best be of service, help you? Have you benefit from my dedication, relentless dedication to this art of seduction, communication, pickup, persuasion, influence, social skills, social arts? What questions would you have in any direction? Doesn't have to be related to what I started to share with you guys today. So,
yeah, Vince, I'm wondering if, it's Tom here, I wonder if anybody else has got, concerns about feeling vulnerable or a lack of trust when dealing with women, because that seems to, come back at me every once in a while. I don't know if it's like me or if it's
those concerns, we have to know one thing. Coaching people for over 2 decades for that specific matter and other topics prior, one of the greatest gifts was that what I used to think was a very private thing, my little secret, my little shortcomings and so on. Before, it didn't take much time for me to realize that it's common. So trust that with the benefit of being exposed on a daily basis, even though I keep it completely private, to the lives of other men, I soon realized that it's unfortunate because we think that it's abnormal and we think that it shouldn't be there. But it's totally common. And what's funny, when I do back-to-back coaching every day, I can tell that everyone tends to think that they're the only one. So number one, know that you're not alone. Truth is that it's common. It's not an abnormality. For the purpose of success and survival, we're fully equipped with the ability to constantly kind of check in. It is totally misunderstood. Even worse than those theories at some point in the past that the the sun was revolving around the earth. Okay? It is there. So I'm not one who will say, oh, no, that's just in your mind. It is there, but it's the assessment of what it is and what to do with it that's lacking. So do yourself the following favor. If you're listening to this right now, think to make it pay off. You got to be proactive with your progress. Where and when you're wanting to be more social, you're with a girl, maybe you're escalating, and some little concerns, what people call concerns, come up in any form or any nature. First, from now on, remind yourself, which may take a little bit of paying attention to it, that it's not abnormal, so you can ease a little bit. Because if you think it's abnormal, then you think it might be a personal thing, and automatically it's not a good equation for the psyche. It will concern a sane person to think in those ways. So then it's a ripple effect, and then we want to avoid it. So, one, it's totally normal. You can even take this further, and I promise you, if you were in the minds of the people around you, even the guy that may not look like it, it's inevitable. It would be actually insane or unsane, unhealthy. It would be considered a mental condition if a person didn't have that internal assessment. Am I okay? Am I not? The person would just charge everywhere blindly. No. So be grateful for it. Know that it's everybody. My experience is it's stronger for women. Stronger. Okay? Whatever little emotional manifestation or mental concern they have, they process it, in general, a little bit more intensely than us. So that's good. So then you could still operate. Okay?
Vince, Dave Chess, my name is David. Can I ask a question?
Yeah, I can tell you're not listening because I'm not done with the answer and I'm sharing a priceless system. So I'm happy to answer your question in just a sec. Bear with me, okay? Let's finish this powerful system. Because realize one thing. The challenge is always the same one. You do good for as long as you do good. But if we could begin to change those moments in time, no matter when they happen for you. You know, I've heard it all. Some guys, it's like, I do good at night, but during the day. Well, I do okay if I know the people, if I'm introduced by somebody, or if it's a group, if it's a six, and so on. So during those moments, those concerns come to mind. Know that they're normal. Step 2, don't think that because of them, you're not capable to act and thrive. Know that there's not a single pickup that I do, even the most masterful of them, where there's not a little voice in the back of my mind still feeding opposite thoughts. But I have learned that it's not the only voice. Don't stay in concern. Know that it's only a fragment of your thinking. So ask yourself, what's everything else that is not that? Learn how to listen to the stronger voices within you, the voice of the warrior that knows that no matter what, you will survive. Don't buy into the concern. So number 2, learn that you can still act regardless. And number 3, there are many other available, existing voices within, angles, and you cannot just sit on it. But too often, we don't want the concern to be there. We think it's abnormal, and then we become concerned about the concern. Okay? Also, know that most have it backwards. I finish with this. Okay? This is very, 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 very deep and essential. First, let's look back at history, like I said a moment ago. It is totally possible that the entire human race is under the impression of something. Most follow what the experts would say. They buy into it, and later on we find out, whoa, that was completely off or kind of backwards, or some elements were missing. So now, the pickup community, too many guys come to it thinking that what they're experiencing is abnormal, and that only when and if they get rid of it, then they will be able to operate backwards, gentlemen. When you operate, when you honor your masculinity, when you satisfy the thirsts within of the hunter that's wired for it, and despite of the little voice, you don't let the little voices decide. You act, the voice fade. See, everybody has it backwards. They think, I cannot take action because of those voices. No. The little voices are there, or the weird feelings are there because you're not taking action, because you're repressing your own masculinity. So it's time to express it. Okay? I'm ready to move to the next question. Other gentlemen, I think it was a 914 number.
Yeah.
What is your question?
Vince, I was at a bar on Saturday, and there was, I guess it was a wedding party, and all the girls were very attractive. I go to this bar a lot.
All the girls were what?
Very nice looking, attractive,
Attractive.
Unusually that and I was like, I had to do something. I acted on my reaction. I tried to talk to a couple of them on small talk, but they just ignored me. I don't know. Like,
of course they did.
They seemed to be very preppy, but I was trying to initiate with eye contact and touch their shoulder to get their attention.
Good.
To get them to
Would you
smile.
like some help with that?
Yeah, I felt like I was out of my league. I was wondering if, like, in their mind, they have a type, or it's just like, they have a type, or they're.
Check this out. Let me ask you something. Would you like a different result and assistance with that?
Yeah, who wouldn't?
Good. All right. So hold on to that, because the first step towards real progress is to be willing to not buy too much into your current explanation. Know that it's not you, but it's an impression, and you're ready for something greater than that. Okay? And you got a few bits and pieces. My sense is that I don't know how much you are following what I'm teaching in any format. Ideally, you go full force all the way. Here's the first thing, okay? It doesn't matter who they are, how attractive they are. There's a dynamic that you need to understand and then operate from, okay? If they are there doing something, and that something is already happening for them, they, in that moment, have the edge over someone who's trying to get to them. So you got to be certain that you begin to become mindful of those dynamics, and you shift them by embracing an edge. Here is the edge. Okay, I walk in the same situation. I don't say that I'm superior, but I focus strictly on superior models. And until those models are in place, it's the same old struggle. So the first thing is, you got to be immune to beauty. You can appreciate it, and you got to be around it up to a point where you realize there's so much more than just the flesh, the shell. It's the person within, and you know that they're also human with it. So you see the flesh, it's like, yeah, Yeah, that's my thought right there. I like that. You acknowledge that. You got to watch out. If you perceive anyone in communication that we perceive as being more valuable or a little bit above us, oh my God, she's so beautiful. And we don't have to do it in a big way. It could be subconscious, okay? Until and unless you feel like, who are those chicks? Well, that's cute. Let me see what's going on. But the bigger part is me. Let's me. You know, you talked about what they were doing, what they look like, and so on. The focus has to be more on you. Look at me, crashing a little post-wedding party or whatever that is. I'm having a blast. I love this bar. I'll go here all the time and so on. From that place, then, number 2 is your delivery. And your delivery, we just went through an entire masterpiece called Infinite Improvisation, where each week or month we have different topics of focus, where, hey, that's simple. Whomever talks more powerfully, freely, and communicates in a way that overrules the other one will overrule. So oftentimes, guys, you know, they come a little bit under the radar. The girls are, oh, my God, yeah, how it's so good to see you. Oh, what? And the guy right there go, hey. So you got to be mindful of shifting that, and then no dependence, curiosity. And in a setting where people are already busy partying, they got their thing. They're not looking for something on the outside. Then you got to value yourself and learn true game, okay? Which, you know, the funny thing, too many guys out there, they treat game the wrong way. They treat it, and we do the same with communication, with speaking. We assume that because it's a natural thing, that we don't have to treat it like somebody who would go to school to study for medicine or somebody who picks up an instrument. You know, if anybody plays the guitar a touch, not many will listen to them. It's only when you give it all that you have. So right there, know how important it is for you. In those moments, when you're there, you see the girls, in those moments, remind yourself of those moments, how bad you want it. And then dive in, and in a setting, I don't know if you saw, I had pictures on my Facebook of yesterday, Memorial Day. So I'm walking around with one of my trainers in training, and we keep on encountering, one was a baby shower, the other one were those girls partying, you know, and automatically, but this is not something you do, there's not one secret, you learn it once and you do it. This is the sum total of every aspect of your game that you strengthen. Automatically, I am value for them. Automatically, their experience, no matter what it is, even be it a baby shower, is enhanced. It's more fun, it's more excitement. So that is not a question we answer with one answer. The best one answer I can tell you is recognize how important this is for you and do everything that you can starting right now to correct it. If somebody really is into the quick fix, sometimes I'm at a club and somebody goes, hey, you're Vince Calvin. Oh, yeah, you're that pickup guy. Give me one thing. Whatever you're currently doing, okay, first know that it's a glimpse of what you can do and don't take it personally. But affirm it way more. Affirm it. And the dynamic of communication is always the same. At any given moment, there's a seeker and there's one that's being sought after. Until you really can detect that anywhere. You could be at the store in line and go, seeker, sought after. Seeking, being sought. And once you understand that, know how to position yourself. No longer, at least to start with, no longer as the seeker, sought after. And then you sub-communicate. You know, I'm in Hollywood. This Wednesday, I'm going to another event, very exclusive event where Adam Sandler will be there. And I love to observe top A-list celebrities. And they are masters through habit or accidentally because they're forced in that environment at no longer sub-communicating, seeking, but knowing how to be the center of the attention. Okay? So that's for this one. What other quick question would you have, everybody? Everybody, you know about the Cosmic Code Convention, We got about 10 more minutes. I can take maybe one or two quick questions. Cosmic Code Convention is right around the corner. You absolutely must be there, but there's a limit. 30 participants will reaching it. There's going to be a description with the podcast right now. I hear somebody, 213 number. What is your question?
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Vince, yes. So, I don't know, I guess I had a question on what, like you were speaking about delivery, maybe the tone?
Okay, it's just one thing. The trick and the secret is in all possible directions. Okay? I'll give you an example. If suddenly I start to talk like that, and I'm a girl, and my rhythm exceeds yours, then, just as if two people are walking and one is walking faster, you will be left behind. So you will be led in a way. So you got to broaden your range. You might be in the presence of, let's say you have two mellow girls, fairly reserved. And the guy arrives and goes, hey girls, quick question. File not found. To impact those two girls that are more mellow, if you're slightly more mellow than them, whatever their gravitation. So you should be able to speak more slowly than anybody out there. Practice. Tomorrow you walk around, you go, okay, the slowest talker of the day, I'm going to outperform that person. Now, oftentimes in party environment, chicks, they're excited, they're a lot about looks. People who are more about their looks tend to process the world more through visuals. So visuals can happen fast. If I go right now, change how you feel. Feel pondering, reflecting. Feel super sad, feel super joyful. Unless the person is a highly skilled actor, it takes time to shift the feeling like that, right? But if I tell you and you're listening and you're willing, yellow, blue, red, white, see how fast visual input can happen. So all of that to tell you that oftentimes party girls, well-dressed, they will operate a little bit faster. So then be able, you don't have to, but be able to go faster at the level of the speed of how you talk than anybody else. What's important so is the gap. Unless you are the prize, unless you're the guy that they already won, and you take your sweet time and you pause, and they don't know what your pause means. They may think that maybe you don't like them, so your pause works for you because it makes them work harder. If anything, they're the one trying to fill the gap and get rid of the unease on their side. But until you are that, the pause gives another guy a chance to talk, her to notice something. The pause is not only giving them an opportunity to talk, but they could also be distracted or they could get into their own thoughts. So you also got to go at the level of delivery to be certain that you're aware of how to master the pause, yet also to don't leave too many gaps. Oftentimes the girl is talking, suddenly she stops talking, she's doing something else, and the guy is like still catching up with what she was saying. No, you got to be on the next thing. You got to be so fast that you fucking interrupt them. You got to be so fast that they are the ones still thinking about what you were saying 3 sentences ago, and you're already elsewhere, and you go, oh, that was 3 weeks ago, sweetheart. You're adorable. Now, that's only one example, only one direction. Volume also. A lot of public places, street, even when you do street game, first, if you speak a little bit louder, it's going to get attention. I don't know if you saw that video yesterday where a girl comes to ask me for a light. I'm going to tell you, the only reason why this girl came to ask me for a light when there were other opportunities around is because I was scoring higher than anybody else in all multiple directions. I looked more easy and comfortable. So you got to also, in your delivery, be very comfortable. You ever speak with someone and even though you like them, they're so uncomfortable that it makes you uncomfortable? So your best bet to really master delivery, first you got to study it with everything that you have. You got to get the resources, okay? And right there, you can beat around the bush. In the end, you're the one paying the wrong price. Instead of really diving in, investing like a madman, being at it every day, you be investing in regrets or close but not quite. That's the worst. The worst, you guys. For anybody that's got decent game, fairly good game, you gotta speed up, because it's going to be even worse if you know, like, oh my God, I almost got the 10, but I didn't. So you draw a circle and you divide it like slices of pizza, or the wheel of life, and start to identify different directions of communication and their sub-direction, and drill one per day. One day be speed. Today, I'm going to outperform the slowest talkers and the fastest ones, just to broaden my range. And if you find it uneasy, whatever direction is uneasy for you, work on it. At some point, guess what got me into meditation? So I would also hook by speaking very slowly, which felt very foreign to me initially. But now, I can do it better than anybody else. Then the next day, you do volume. Okay? And volume, for example, if suddenly you go from talking normal to, now, here's the thing, a little whisper like that. And then it goes a little further, because oftentimes if people, they go for a softer volume, they make it more dull. So you got to keep it lively. Okay? And then maybe the next one is also variety in your communication. That it's not only and just the same, that it's monotone. Then is ease with your body. Then is using your body. If you only use your lips in this day and age, many may think that you're on the phone. People register less and less. Prior to people carrying devices in the world with them, if somebody's lips were moving, either they were talking to themselves or they were talking to me. Now it's also an easy way out for a girl. So you got to go in all those multiple directions. Now here is the core of it all. Okay? We talked about it during infinite improvisation. As you start that journey to really expand your communication, and I'm going to tell you a story so you really realize that communication is absolutely everything. Sometimes it's a matter of life or death. And the status of all aspects of your life depends on one thing: your ability to communicate more masterfully than ever before. So I think the most intelligent decision any human, no matter what they want, who they are, what their style is, where they live, whatever, most intelligent decision should be, I got to master communication in all directions. Now, you decide that today, which is a prerequisite. Okay? Guys who want to do better with pickup, and year after year they hear, like, you got to broaden your range. You speak just a little bit below average. Most of the time we don't hear you. You drag your stories, So change it now. Then, as you begin to change it, if you think that it's something you are not already capable of doing, and you treat it, I got to work on that, it will elude you, because your identity is still maintaining that it's not here now. So the change, for all the changes that you want, is to recognize that, or at least contemplate, what if you had it backwards? What if you thought you didn't have it, and it was backwards? You have it, but you were repressing it. Like there's a tiger within you that keeps on saying, let me roar, let me hunt, let me run, let me be, let me do. But because you don't know it, you go, oh, no. And as you do that, the tiger is scratching the inside of you. So that feels like a weird feeling. So then you go, oh, what is it? Why do I feel anxious? After a while, the tiger goes, oh, I've had it to be in this cage. How many more beautiful women are you going to force me to see and force me to hold back? I'm within you. I am your power, your strength. I'm ready for it. I'm voracious. I was born fully equipped. But you bought into bullshit that told you that you were quiet, you were not social. One of the most deadly assessments ever, independently from what you were studying at the time, your first exposure to studying, if it was presupposed that you were not the brightest person around, you got to clear that. You got to know you are as bright as anybody else, and you got to commit to be the brightest that you can allow yourself to be, because I've seen it where maybe early on in life a person was told that, and then they come to pick up and they treat it like it's so complicated. And at first you go, why are they making it so complicated? Oh, because they're under a false impression. So you bought into all those false impressions. You know, if you come to me today, you go, Vince Calvin, even if you say, I don't fucking like you, but I respect the fact that you are, to this day, 51 years old, dedicating as much as you are to the art and helping the guys in the community to the way you're doing it. Let me ask you a question. What is your current understanding of all the challenges a guy can have and all the desire a guy can have? I would say that is super simple. It's only one thing. You're a man. You were born with a gender called being a man. You have a masculine energy within you, a force within you. Through schooling, the stupidity of others that didn't have all the information or were so afraid that they wanted to judge before they were judged or heard before they were heard, and we did that to others, no big deal, we don't look back. You kind of found yourself like the silliest example of self-help. The tiger was in the cage and the door was open, but the tiger didn't know it. You started to cage yourself. And now you're trying to deal at the level of how do I breathe more within the cage? What's the best position in the cage? There is no cage. So you got to flip everything around. I dare you guys listening to this right now to start walking around under only one impression. And that impression is, okay, it was just one thing. There's a force within me. I'm a man. I'm a descendant of hunters, warriors, and I need to allow it to express itself freely, to communicate freely, to speak freely, pure self-expression. And if there's something that I want, a goal, even if it seems far out, I go for it, and I trust. And the problem is if you take a step, but you're looking for what could go wrong, you rapidly take that step back. If you take a step and you stand on that step and you don't take the next step, again, you stumble. So it's like, plow, one step, one step, one step, one step, one step. See, we don't only teach the content, we teach and the lifestyle. We also teach the rhythm. I can tell you right away, at the time of this recording, I have an event coming up this weekend, massive sexual momentum. Well, but didn't you have one last week and the week before? Yeah, but that's what I need. If I don't do those events back to back like that, I'm missing out on the expression, the full expression of the art. So I'm like kind of digging and diving, and I want even more gold. Treat it the same for you. And it's entered too soft. It's entered too softly. First, kill the story. If you enter wanting better, and you have an explanation, oh, you know, for me, and the thing is, and when I do and when I don't, it'd be as foolish as you are seated at the restaurant, you're hungry, there's a pleasant waitress who says, okay, how can I help you? What would you want? You take a second to make a choice. But if you stare at the waitress and you go, well, see, my problem is that I haven't had a meal in a long time, and last time I tried to have a meal, you would drive her crazy, and there would still not be any food in front of you. But, you know, false models, limiting models taught us that you need to first look at the problem. Yeah, if you're an expert, but you're not. It's foolish for someone who's not producing the result to try to assess why they are not producing the results. So drop all stories. Then, to really decide and answer strong, that's the first place where you access, honor, embrace your masculinity. See, a man, the way to do it, when we're men and we want something, there's magic in that. And you won't know the magic until you tap into that and stack it and top it. It's stop, stack, top, and never stop. That's it. So if you enter and you go, all right, the past is the past. I'm a man, I want women. Whatever it takes, starting now, secret word, until. It gets difficult, I'm not afraid of difficulty. I'm going to find a way, make a way to make it easier. Whatever it takes. Tell me, what should I do? Okay, delivery. Since you want to influence more people and you don't know how slow or fast they're going to be speaking, you need to broaden your awareness of your own range that's existing. At gunpoint, you'd be talking so slow or so fast. To save our ass, we already got it. then that's it. Do this today. And don't go home, yeah, but I tried, and so on. See? You got to embrace your masculinity. Honor it. Now, if you think that, okay, but where is it? I get it, Vince, but I want to be more in my masculinity. It's already there. You had it backwards. What if the manifestation of weird thoughts and weird feelings is not what we think it is? It is only in just one thing. If suddenly you put one of your hands towards your throat and you start to squeeze, now notice how it affects your breathing. But what caused that? It's the hand. It's not the breathing that caused your hand to be there. And notice after a while, you would start to sound pretty weird. But their guys don't see it. They still think that it's not the hand that's causing this, that it's the voice that's causing it. All right? So get excited. The best is yet to come. Remind yourself a lot. If anything that you heard, the idea of like, yeah, I'm a man and I repress myself. That's it. That's just the story. Okay? Beginning of a new journey, a new chapter in my life. No more. I'm not going to repress myself. So I'm going to express myself not in just one direction. I'm not going to go in, I'm a man, and get in trouble. No, I'm going to be, it's simple. The equation is simple. Are you expressing or repressing? Write the following down. 1, are you repressing or expressing? Wherever you go, I shouldn't, I haven't, you're repressing. Don't do that anymore. Express instead. Yeah? And the rest will follow. The question is, of course, you're not sure. What's new? You can't be the kind of person who wants to only be sure all the time. Is the girl going to stay with me? What if she doesn't? Equip yourself so no matter what happens, you'll be fine. And life is life, regardless. Endurance, tolerance. We're not as fragile as we think we are. Okay? The next one is, are you granting or denying? Oh, I like beautiful girl. Oh, my God, she's hot. Are you granting access to that for you, or are you denying? Okay? Then the next one is, are you growing or are you bitching? It's a bad habit. The core is men have gone better. And I'm going to be totally honest with you guys, is wherever I've wrestled and struggled in my life, I suffer of the same core challenge than you guys. If suddenly, wherever it is, I start to buy into my own story, well, it's hard to do this and that, okay? And then I sit there, and I don't take every single possible measure, or I enter in and I go, I know, and I don't do much. I'll finish with a personal story. There's a family member. The other day, I get a phone call, and different continent. For me, it's daytime. For them, it's late, very late. They're driving on a freeway. It's windy. It's rainy. And they encounter something happened that it's one of those things like, wow, that's messed up. So it's messing with them. And the person cannot catch themselves, and they're driving. And they go, but I know. And that person spoke to a therapist a couple of days before it's on. It's a family member for me that's dear. And suddenly, that one night, not to pick up a girl or not to be the king of the party in a social environment, but to be there for a loved one, suddenly ease the voice, all those techniques of communication until everything is good, she's home, she's safe, and now we turn the situation around. Next day, thank you so much. That's incredible. I feel so much better. I'm not bragging, but I want to remind you that, again, give this thing everything you have. It's beyond women. To me, I always suspected that the universe is so clever that if the universe wanted me to really grow and said, well, it is time for you to learn time efficiency. Well, it is time for you to learn how to communicate so you're a better debater. I probably, I would only do it when I really like something. So what do I really like? What do you really like? Girls. So that's the appeal that causes to grow like crazy. All right? So if you're listening to the live recording, stay on right now. I'm going to get off recording, and I'm happy to maybe take even one more question. Okay, this is strong. And if you're listening to the live recording, we always have so much happening. The website is vincekelvin.com, Cosmic Code Convention. It may be passed by the time you hear this on iTunes or elsewhere, but check out the description, click on the link. You will find so many resources. It's incredible.